All right, so I decided I'm gonna start doing some monthly educational videos. Some might be twice a month, depending on what I run across to as I'm out working on the lovely old truckster that everyone finds so fantastic. I love running the thing. It's a freaking awesome machine. So the last 2 days, today and the other day, I've been doing a lot of smart weed removal. It is a native plant here to Texas. There's 15 species across Native America, 9 that are very common here in Texas. It is a very fast-growing plant. It can overtake bodies of water very fast. A lot of animals utilize this plant, but it can become a hindrance into ponds for the private homeowner as well, because it can encroach from the banks and hinder your fishing. So I've been on a job, we're moving it using the truckster as well as some chemicals and herbicides to take care of and get this plant back under control as well. Ducks like to eat the seeds. Other birds will eat the seeds of this plant. Invertebrates will use the roots and understructure of this plant as for shelter, and then fish will eat those invertebrates. So I pulled this out of the water about 6 o'clock. It is currently 8:15, so 2 hours and 15 minutes. You can see how well it's already wilted. This is a very long plant. You can see roots continually grow up this sucker, and then you get to the top of the plant. So smartweed, is there any good uses for it? It's actually, the whole entire plant is edible, according to some stuff on Google. So on these monthly deals, I'm going to go over edible. Is it not? Is there any good uses to this plant? Is there medicinal characters? That stuff I consult off of Google. I'm no expert on that stuff as well, so you can use that information lightly as you please. As far as the chemical control of these plants, biological, mechanical control, how they grow, that is all information that I get from A&M, LSU, and stuff that I run across and I found through time of running the machine and on the job site kind of research and stuff that I find out in the field as I'm working. So smartweed has got a peppery taste according to my research and what I've done. It's a natural spice, if you want to consider it being that way. There are medicinal uses for it. Not really sure as far as what all medicinal uses there are, but Google says there are some. Everything from the roots to the stems to the leaves to the seeds. This doesn't have any seeds on it, this one. It is all completely edible. Like I said, it is a native plant. There are some different chemicals we can use for this. Some Mazamox, Mazapir, or glyphosate are 3 of them. Sorry about that. I had a little phone call come in. You can also use glyphosate as or 2,4-D. I'm sorry, I already said glyphosate. 2,4-D is another herbicide that you can use in the control of this plant. The flowers on this plant are either pink, white, or green. Those are the 3 most common flower colors that you're going to see on this plant down here in Texas. Other regions might have different colors. I'm in Texas. The southern region is what I worry about the most as far as the vegetation that I'm taking care of. Smartweed is across all of North America, even there in Canada and Alaska, way up north where it gets really, really cold. But down here in the south, it grows almost year-round. We don't really see drastic drops in water temperature unless we have a snowmageddon like we did in 2021, but majority of the time of the year, it will grow. Mechanical means are an option. That's what truckster uses. We use with the truckster mechanical vegetation removal. It can cut this plant and help remove it, but it can start to repropagate and regrow off just cutting it. So in that sense, depending on the management plan for the pond you're doing, it's not a bad idea to follow up with some herbicides there. If you're against herbicides, then you want to do nutrient mitigation, reduce your nutrients. If you're reducing nutrients, you reduce some of your plant growth rates. It's not a bad plant. It's not an invasive plant. It's more of a nuisance plant is what I like to call them, because they can overtake a pond, but they are native. So they're not from another country. They're native here, but it can overtake that pond, so it becomes more of a nuisance. It's not really invasive. People who use that invasive term on native and non-native, I like to refer them as a nuisance, because invasive people go, oh my, it's not from here, we need to get rid of it. It's a really good plant to use around fishing area. It grows very dense. It can grow in floating kind of islands and floating mats. Almost so dense at some point. Someone of my size can slightly walk on them a little bit. I did a little today, put 1 foot, sank in the water a little bit, about ankle deep, but was able to actually take another step out in the plant, pick up a bobber I saw in the water with some fishing lines so I didn't get tangled with my machine and get back on the machine. So it did hold me to a little bit. Small kid, probably could walk on it. Wouldn't advise it though. Could be a safety factor there. So before you walk out on some vegetation, make sure you check and make sure there's not solid ground underneath it, because this will grow on land or in water. Far up in like a pasture, something you're not really going to see it, but right there on that water's edge, within 5 to 6 feet of that water, and this job I'm on, it actually is growing. So we did spray all the shorelines today with a 2,4-D, and then the water used a different herbicide, Aquatic Safe. Both sides of it, since we're spraying near the water, do help control it after we did some mechanical removal. So that's Smartweed for you. If you got any questions, leave them down below. If you have a pond that you need help with, fountains, aeration, repair, sales, service, I install them, repair them, tell you what you need, goods and bads of all different brands. Comment. I'm here in East Texas. I travel all over. So if you need help with a pond, let me know. Love to help you out. Even if you got questions on the vegetation you have in your pond, you're looking for ways to control it, need to pick a brain, leave a comment, shoot me a message. I'd be more than happy to help you any way I can. Look for these every month. Sometimes twice a month we're going to be doing these. Depends on what vegetation I'm kind of seeing the most at the time and what time I have to get them done. But keep looking for them. There's a lot of different aquatic vegetations out there, and over time we're going to slowly cover them all.